Home on Tools with James, and today we're going to start a big project. We're going to convert my pergola behind me into another room on the house. So let's jump in, take a closer look. So the pergola, fantastic through summer, provides shade, have your parties, all that type of stuff, great space. The only problem is that the winter months come and I've got this great big space here that essentially becomes a dog kennel for my dog. And doesn't get much use other than that. The house is an okay size, but we've always talked about making the house bigger and blowing out and having a really big living room. Hence the idea to convert the pergola and turn it into another big living area. So, you know, myself getting the great idea, I'm going to go all guns blazing, fill in the walls and all that type of stuff. But probably just needed to slow myself down a little bit. There's a lot of steps and it's quite a big job and undertaking. So across the course of the next few months, I'm going to do the build. I'm going to take you guys through step by step, basically the roofing, the walls, the floor, the doorways, the whole lot. We're going to cover it in some really good detail. So if you're deciding to convert your pergola into an outdoor area, I'm hoping you get some value from this video. And if you do see some great value in it, please sub to the channel. Would love some comments. Would also love some ideas if you've got them along the journey. It'd be really great to get your input. So let's jump in and have a bit of a look at the space and talk through a bit of the idea. So the first job I'm going to tackle is the roof. When we built the house, we had the pergola added on later, and as a result, the house has just got standard roof gutters, so like the normal ones you'd see on your house. For this job, we're actually going to need to put in box gutters, so this just ensures that we don't get any water running down inside our walls, because if I haven't cleaned the gutters for a while, or we get a bad storm or something like that with a lot of rain, it leaks, and obviously we don't want that leaking inside our walls. So we've got the gutters to look after. The roof also has polycarbonate sheet. Because I'm going to line the roof with hardwood lining boards, I don't want that polycarbonate, so I'm going to swap that out for some regular sheets of steel. And then we still want to get all that beautiful natural light as well, so I'll be doing a Velux skylight install, so keep an eye out in a future vid for that. So that'll pretty much cover off the roof. We're going to appoint new downlights, we're going to put in insulation, we're going to do brand new ceiling fans. So that'll get the roof looking $1,000,000. And as you can see, I've got a nice high gable roof behind me and it's nicely framed out. So it should be a breeze lining it. So I'm really looking forward to that job. So that's going to be the first thing we tackle, the roof. Then there's the walls of our new extension. So the pergola here is nice and square. It's got nice squared up posts. I've already checked them all. So it should actually be a breeze just to frame this out. A couple of things to consider when I do frame it out. I want some really good bracing, so I'm going to do that with brace board in this application. And I want to keep the area really nice and bright. So big windows are going in. I'm going to have a set of French doors in the front. It should look $1,000,000, let a lot of light in. And the other thing we need to consider as well is ventilation. Because I'm closing the area in, we still want to make sure that the house gets ventilated and we don't have any mold or any of that type of stuff grow. So making sure that all the windows, you know, slide right open, have the fly screens, etc. Would be a must and part of your building code as well. So looking forward to the walls, should be an easy one. I'm looking to clad them with some of the James Hardie board. When I get closer, I'll cover off what that is. And again, making sure that we've got them nice and insulated and good to go. So walls should be a breeze and should come up a treat. The next job I'll be looking to do after that is the demolition work. So I've got a lounge room window and a kitchen window behind me. I actually want to blow those out and open up the space. The house is actually a pine construction. It's just got the brick veneer, so I should be able to pull most of the bricks off this wall here, and then I'll get an engineer to assess how much further I can open up the doorways. The sliding door as well that heads into our dining area, I'm going to pull that out. It's just going to be all open plan. I will look to, however, put a sliding door in the lounge room. So the demolition will be next, and that just ensures that the house is still totally livable while we're doing the works. And once I've got sort of this exterior area up to lock out, that's when I can go and bulldoze out those windows and doors so that we can still continue to live in the house and it stays nice and warm. And then there's the flooring. So currently the pergola is sitting on a concrete slab. Slab's nice and thick, 150mm thick concrete, and it's got the vapor barrier mat, so no problem there at all. But when the concrete was done, and rightly so, there's quite a large fall, and you can see here that there's nearly half a brick fall from the house to the edge. So I'm going to have to account for that to make sure I get my floor nice and level. What I'm looking to do here is batten it out and run a hardwood floor. I've always wanted a really nice hardwood floor, and I think it'll look $1,000,000 out here. So that's what we're going to do with floors. So there you go, there's a bit of a run through in the project and what it's going to look like, and you know, it should take me, I'd say, probably a good 6 months to build it, provided I don't get any interruptions or run into any snags. But there is a lot of work you've got to do before we actually even start doing any work at all on the actual pergola. So in this instance, I'm in Victoria in Australia, and because this job is going to be relatively expensive, and you should always, you know, plan your budget out first, but sort of about 50K is what I'm looking at for this job here. I'm actually not allowed to just go ahead and do that, right? It'd be great. I'm sure plenty of people do, but in this instance, I'm going to do it the right way. So I've had to apply for a white card, so that's basically a safety induction card, because I will have some trades on this job to do the electrical, etc. And I've also had to complete an assessment for an owner builder's course. So this is just to ensure that you basically understand your safety obligations when undertaking works like this. So a couple of things to consider. The next one too is your building permits as well, and it'll be different no matter what country you're in. There'll always be a code. So there'll be a number of things that you need to look at. And you know, I did mention through the project, there's things such as ventilation, light, bracing, all these type of things your engineer or your surveyor will be looking for. And the other thing too, a lot of the pergolas you'll see around people's houses are often on borders for your neighbour's fence. So making sure that you run it by your neighbours first as well will be absolutely key. So the next job for me is to draw up some plans, and I'm just going to give you a quick look at a program I use to basically remove the need to get an architect. You can do it yourself. You know, how good are apps these days? So it's an app called Morpholio Trace. So I'll give you a bit of a look at it. It's what I've done to draw up this plan here while I wait my building permit. So let's take a quick look. Okay, so I'll give you a look at the program I'm using to draw up the plans for our house extension. So I'm using this program called Morpholio Trace. Now, if you are going to use this app, I would recommend getting a stylus or an Apple Pen in my case here. It certainly makes the job a lot easier. I've looked through a lot of apps to try and draw up plans and projects in the past, and I haven't really liked any of them, to be honest. This one here, though, I've got to tell you, is really, really good. So I'll go through just a couple of features of the app for what this would help with this project. So a couple of things you can do. You can take a photo of your space. So if you can step back and get a good photo of it, nice and clear. In this case, I had to cut down some of these yuccas you see here, so I could get a nice, good, clear picture of my space. You can see the house there from a forward-facing view. But this app's really cool as well. You can pull Google Maps information, and you can also get aerial views, so you don't have to get your drone out or anything like that. And you can draw over the top of them. I will just give you a basic look at this without going into great detail. And if it is something that you guys like, I am happy to do a video a bit deeper depth on how to do the planning. But I thought I'd just show you this. And what's really cool about this program is you take a photo of your project in the app, and you want to capture the whole thing in here. So you can see I've got the whole pergola area in shot. I've also got my dog there doing something a bit silly old Neo. So I've got that in picture there. Now, you can draw straight over the top of it, but what's really cool about this is it helps you with sizing and scale. So if you're drawing up plans for a local council, etc., you can do really great plans that are professional and to scale. And basically, like if you know one measurement, so a measurement from a pole to a pole, you can basically tell it what that measurement is, and then it'll scale everything else in your drawing, which is really, really cool, and give you, nice, accurate plans. But basically, I'll show you. I've already drawn up. There's the overlay, the top, a bit of an idea what it could look like. So you can see here, I'm going for sort of like some loft style windows and a set of French doors in there as well, with it all built out. So that'll give you a bit of an idea of what you can achieve, and they're all drawn to scale, as I said, and really easy. This one, you've got basic tools at the top. You've got a ruler, and since I've put it to scale now, this ruler all becomes to scale. So you can see that the pergola is 10 meters long. If I zoom out and I go across there, you can see that the pergola is 10 meters long. So once you've scaled your drawing up, it works brilliantly. And then drawing's a breeze as well. You can basically, I'll just do one now, but you can draw. You can just select a pen over on the side, and you can just draw on the ruler, etc., etc. It comes up great. So that's a bit of a tip and a tool that I use to draw up these plans, and I've done one for this. I've done an aerial view as well. but found that it was super helpful for my application. And I suppose, you know, for the investment of the iPad, most people have got them, and just a pen to write with, probably save the money that I'd spend on an architect. So we're going to submit these plans, and with a bit of luck, we'll get approval from the council and we'll be able to hook in and start the build.